Discuss how to get money back in online fraud cases. According to crime data, identity theft accounts for 77% of the fraud cases registered in India. Another analysis suggests that 1 in every 3 Indian will be affected by identity theft at some point in their lives. Victims in cyber fraud cases are concerned not only with conviction of cyber criminals but also with refund of money. So let's focus on legal aspect of refund of money as well as procedure for the same. RBI notification. All the bank's liability in case of unauthorized electronic banking transactions is governed by RBI circular. Salient points of circular. The electronic banking transactions are divided into 2 categories. First is remote or online payment transactions. It includes transactions that do not require physical payment. Instruments to be presented at the point of transactions. For example, internet banking, mobile banking. Second is face-to-face or proximity payment transaction. These transactions require physical payment instruments such as a card or mobile phone to be present at the point of transaction. For example, ATM, POS. Reporting of unauthorized transactions by customers to banks. Banks must ask their customers to mandatorily register for SMS alerts. SMS alerts shall mandatorily be sent to the customers by bank, while email alerts may be sent, wherever registered. The customers must be advised to notify their bank of any unauthorized electronic banking transaction at the earliest after the occurrence of such transaction. Banks must provide customers with 24/7 access through multiple channels via website, phone banking, SMS, for reporting unauthorized transactions that have taken place. Banks shall also enable customers to instantly respond by reply to the SMS and email alerts. Further, a direct link for lodging the complaints with specific option to report unauthorized electronic transactions shall be provided by banks on the home page of their website. The communication systems used by banks to send alerts and receive their responses must record the time and date of delivery of the message and receipt of customer's response. Banks may not offer facility of electronic transactions other than ATM cash withdrawals to customers who do not provide mobile numbers to the bank. On receipt of report of an unauthorized transaction from the customer, banks must take immediate steps to prevent further unauthorized transactions in the account. Limited liability of a customer. Zero liability of a customer. A customer's entitlement to zero liability shall arise where the unauthorized transaction occurs in following events: contributory fraud or negligence or deficiency on the part of the bank. Third-party breach, where the deficiency lies neither with the bank nor with the customer but lies elsewhere in the system, and the customer notifies the bank within 3 working days of receiving the communication from the bank regarding the unauthorized transaction. Limited liability of a customer. A customer shall be liable for the loss occurring due to unauthorized transactions in the following case. In cases where the loss is due to negligence by a customer, the customer will bear the entire loss until he reports the unauthorized transaction to the bank. In cases where the responsibility for the unauthorized electronic banking transaction lies neither with the bank nor with the customer, but lies elsewhere in the system, and when there is a delay on the part of the customer in notifying the bank of such a transaction, the per-transaction liability of the customer shall be limited to the transaction value, or the amount mentioned in table in next slide. According to this, if the customer notifies the bank within 3 working days of receiving communication regarding the unauthorized transaction, then the customer's liability is 0. If the customer notifies the bank within 4 to 7 working days, then the customer's liability is the transaction amount. If the customer notifies the bank beyond 7 working days, then the customer's liability is as per bank's board-approved policy. Maximum liability in case. If the customer notifies the bank within 4 to 7 working days of receiving communication regarding the unauthorized transaction, if account is basic saving bank deposit, then the maximum liability is Rs 5,000. If account is other saving bank or prepaid instrument payments, or current and overdraft account or credit card with limit up to Rs 5 lakhs, then the maximum liability is Rs 10,000. And for all other current or overdraft account or credit card with limit above Rs 5 lakhs, the maximum liability is Rs 25,000. Reversal timeline for zero liability or limited liability of customer. On being notified by the customer, the bank shall credit the amount involved in the unauthorized electronic transaction within 10 working days from the date of such notification by the customer without waiting for settlement of insurance claim. Banks should ensure that a complaint is resolved and liability of the customer established within such time as may be specified in the bank's board-approved policy, but not exceeding 90 days from the date of receipt of the complaint. Second, when it is unable to resolve the complaint within 90 days, the compensation as prescribed in previous table is paid to the customer. Next, in case of debit card/bank account, the customer does not suffer loss of interest, and in case of credit card, the customer does not bear any additional burden of interest. Procedure victim should follow to get money back. Step 1. The victim should lodge a complaint with the nearest police station or cyber cell with the following documents: self-attested, government ID proof of the victim, screenshots of the SMS which reflects the unauthorized transaction details, a detailed application describing the whole incident, that is, how the caller obtained the private information like card details and OTP, phone numbers of the fraudster if available via WhatsApp, IMO, email, updated bank statement reflecting the unauthorized transactions. Ideally, INFOR should be lodged, but if police resists, get a DDR entry made and receive a stamped copy of the proof of submission of the complaint. Step 2. Submit a similar complaint to the nearest bank branch and the RBI branch. 3rd, stay in contact with bank officials seeking refund as per RBI guidelines. In case of delay, seek reasons for the same. Be alert.